I didn't yell, didn't throw a tantrum, didn't demand an explanation. I just stood there, silent, still, oddly composed. The kind of stillness that settles over everything right before a storm tears it apart. Except this time, the storm wasn't outside. It was brewing inside me. She was on the edge of the bed, phone clutched in her hand, eyes wide with guilt and surprise. She hadn't even noticed I'd come in. Not until I said her name. That's when the phone slipped from her grasp. I didn't have to pick it up to know. The messages were right there, glowing on the screen like a punch to the chest. He called her baby. She told him she missed him. Between hearts, flirty emojis, and stolen words, something inside me cracked. Quietly but completely. I didn't need to scroll further. I didn't need some excuse. The truth doesn't come with justifications. It simply lands, heavy and final, without saying a word. I turned and left, grabbed my keys, my wallet, nothing else. No arguments, no tears, no pleading, just the silence. She had made her choice, and I chose to step aside and honor it. That night, I ended up sleeping in my car, parked behind the delivery trucks in a grocery store lot. It was cold. My back throbbed, but it still beat lying next to someone who'd shattered everything with a smile. I laid there, staring up through the windshield into the black sky. No music, no podcasts, just a brutal company of my own thoughts, slowly tearing through what was left of me. People think heartbreak is some dramatic explosion, but they're wrong. Real heartbreak is quiet. It doesn't shout, it whispers. Whispers doubts until they echo so loud you believe them. That you weren't enough. That you never were. 2 days later, I left the city. I told work I needed some time. Found a place a few towns over. Nothing special. Cheap rent, partially furnished, and reeking faintly of old paint and emptiness. But it was mine. And more importantly, it was quiet. I picked up a job with a small construction crew, fixing up homes, restoring what others had let fall apart. There was something healing about it, putting broken things back together with my hands. Even if my own pieces still didn't fit right, routine became my escape. Early mornings, long days, sweat and sawdust instead of memories. I stopped checking her online, stopped wondering if she was with him, stopped replaying the moment everything fell apart. But healing isn't a straight road. Some mornings I felt okay. Other days, I'd be brushing my teeth and suddenly imagine her standing next to me like she used to. I'd remember her laugh coming from the kitchen, or how she'd steal fries off my plate and pretend she wasn't doing it. And just like that, the ache would return, sharp and familiar. I never told my parents, not even my closest friend. When people asked why I looked worn out, why I packed up and left, I just smiled faintly and said I needed change. Because saying the person I loved the most destroyed me with a text thread wasn't something I was ready to speak out loud. 12 months passed. A full year of tearing myself down and building something stronger in its place. I stopped chasing closure. Stopped searching for answers I'd never get. I learned to live without the weight of betrayal pressing down on me every morning. And just when I thought I'd made it through, she came back. It was a Saturday. I just finished a long job, fixing drywall, installing cabinets, covered in plaster and sweat. My body ached. My clothes were stiff with dry paint, and all I wanted was to collapse on the couch with a cheap beer and nothing but silence. I was unlocking my apartment door when I heard it, a car pulling up behind me. I didn't think much of it until I heard her voice. Daniel. I froze. That voice. The one I used to know like my own reflection. The one that used to whisper, "I love you," like it meant forever. I turned slowly, and there she was. She looked changed, not in age or size, but in presence, like life had drained some light from her. She seemed smaller somehow, like her spirit had caved in on itself. In her hands, she clutched an old photograph. One of us, standing by the ocean, laughing with our arms around each other. "This was the last trip we took together," she said softly. "The one where I really believed we'd last forever. I've been searching for you for months." I didn't respond. I didn't offer to let her in either. I just stood in the doorway, letting the silence speak for me. She stepped a little closer, her eyes already shimmering with tears. "I know I don't have a right to ask anything of you," she said, her voice cracking. "But I needed to look you in the eyes and tell you I'm sorry." I stayed leaning against the doorframe, arms crossed, guarding the pieces I'd rebuilt. "He left," she continued, her words trembling. "That guy, I thought he meant something. But he told me he was never looking for anything real. I thought I was chasing more, but I already had everything, and I threw it away. I wanted to feel something, fury, satisfaction, maybe even sympathy. But there was only a hollow calm, because by the time she realized my worth, I had already stitched myself back together. Without her, you don't have to say a word," she whispered. I couldn't move on without telling you that I regret it. Every single day. I destroyed the best thing I ever had." Her hands trembled as tears ran freely down her face. I remembered holding those same hands through the worst storms. Now I saw them differently. These were hands that let go when I needed them most. She looked at me like she was hoping for a miracle, like I'd pull her into a hug and tell her we could start over. But I didn't, because I hadn't forgotten what she had. I didn't leave because I stopped loving her. I left because she did. I spent a year putting myself back together. I said quietly, "And now you think you can just come back and pretend nothing's broken?" She shook her head, tears falling faster. "No, I know something broke. I broke." I gave a slow nod. For the first time, she had told the truth. But that didn't change mine. I missed her. God, I missed her. But what I really missed was the person I believed she was. And that version of her never actually existed. "I hope you find peace," I said gently. "And I hope one day you learn how to love someone without tearing them apart first." Her sobs came like thunder, raw and heavy, like the sky had cracked inside her chest. But I didn't hold her. That was no longer my place. I watched as she turned away, wiping her face with unsteady hands. She didn't glance back, and I didn't either. When I closed the door behind her, I leaned against it, exhaling a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. My chest ached, not from love, but from release. I had finally let go, not of her, but of the pain, of the betrayal, of the quiet hope that maybe she'd come back changed. That night, something settled inside me. A truth. Some people come back. Some people regret. But not everyone should be given a second chance at your healing. Sometimes love doesn't end in fire or fury, but in quiet resolution. And for the first time, I had that. Peace.